In this lecture, I will be showing you one more way of importing and exporting modules. In short, it is called as ESM, which stands for ECMAScript Modules. And this ES modules were introduced in JavaScript with ES 2015 version. And this is the official module system for JavaScript. And they will be providing standardized way to handle modular code in JavaScript using our import and export syntax. And if you're already familiar with React, in that we usually use this import and export syntax. In common JS module system, what we have used require function inside which we will be passing the file path, and also we have used this module.exports object using which we will be exposing the functionality of the module. But in this ES module, we will be using import and export. And from version 12.17.0, Node.js also started supporting this version, but it was fully stabilized in version 14.0.0. But in most code bases, you will see whenever we are using Node, we will be following common JS module system. And this ES module, you can easily follow in React, or you can use in Angular, you can use in Vue. But if you're working in Node.js, then it is good you follow common JS module system. But now in this, using ESM, we will see different patterns of exporting and importing data. I have opened my editor. Normally, when we use common JS module system, we have used the extension .js. But if we are using ESM in Node.js, then what we have to do, I will create the file. I will give the file name as calculation dot, you have to write mjs. Okay, you have to write mjs whenever you are using ESM module system in Node.js. This is the one way of using. Second way is, if you have initialized package.json file, in that you should simply specify this type property, and here you should give the value as module. But we have not initialized package.json, so you don't have to worry about the second way. Instead, we will use this first way of using ESM module. Remember, you should give this extension .mjs. And here I will be creating another file. I will write index.mjs. Inside this, I will show you the first pattern. I will write the comment. Inside this, I will write default export. Below this, I will be creating function sum. I will use arrow function, and simply I will do a plus b. I am writing only one line of code, so I do not have to return anything. Similarly, I will be creating another function sub, and then I will be writing a minus b. In common JS, what we use module.exports, but here we are going to use export keyword to export the data. Now I have to do default export. So here I will write default. Simply, I will just do default export of this sum. Now I will come to index.mjs. Inside this, I have to import that. Here I will write import keyword. Then I will be writing sum. Then I have to write this from import sum from. Then I have to give the path name. It is present in .mjs. Now below this, I will write here log. Inside this, I will just call this sum function. I will give 2, 3. Save. I will open. I will clear this terminal. Inside this, I'm just going to run node index. Now see what happens. As soon as I run node index, I am having the previous result, that is JavaScript and React. Why? Because here simply I have passed index. So while executing, first it is just going to search for this .js extension. If it is present, then simply it is just going to execute that file. But now here I am having .mjs. So here whenever we are executing, we have to pass the extension. Now I will hit enter. Now I am able to get the result 5. And whenever you are using .mjs file, always give the extension. Okay, this is how we are going to do default export. Now what I just want to export this sub as well. But in one file, we can have only one default export. If I want to do multiple default export, then this entire thing I will be wrapping in curly braces, and after sum, I will be passing this sub. Now I will come to index file. Now I just cannot import this sum. Instead, I will write here calculation. Below this, I will simply write here log. You can give any name here. I will write calculation. And this one, I'm just going to comment. I will open terminal, and inside this, I'm just going to run my index file. Now you can see what I got. I got object inside which I am having some function and I am having sub function. So whenever we are exporting two values, what it is going to return? It is going to return object. So now this calculation is having sum and sub. So what I have to do? Now whenever I am calling this, I have to write my object, that is calculation, and from there I have to access this sum. Similarly, if I want to access sub, from this calculation object, I will be accessing sub, and here I will write 7, 3. Save it. Now I will run. Now you can see I am having the result. So from this calculation object, I am able to access this sum and sub properties, which are nothing but functions. So that is the reason I am having result for both the functions. So this is our first pattern, default export. Let us see second pattern. I will write to, here I will be writing named export. I will comment, and below this I'm just going to paste. I will remove this export default. In place of this is my entire function. Directly I'm just going to export. And here also I'm just going to write export. For default export, while importing, you can give any name, but for this name export, exact same name has to be given. So now I will come here. I will copy comment. Below this, I will write to. Here I will be pasting. Remove this entire thing. In place of this, here I have to write curly braces. Then I will be writing sum, and then I will be writing sub. Exact same way I have to write. Whatever name we have given while exporting, same name I should be passing while importing. Now I will open. I'm just going to run the application. Again, I will be having the result. If I just give here someone, and here also I will be giving someone, I will just run the application. Now you can see I will be having this error. Why? Because for named export, whatever name we are using to export, exact same name has to be given while importing that data. Now third pattern, I will just come here. I will write the comment mixed export. Mixed export, and here I will be using named and default. I will copy comment. Below this I will be pasting. So this is nothing but named export. Below this I'm just going to create another function. I will write multiply. Inside this I will pass a comma b, and here I will write a multiplied by b. Now this multiplication I'm just going to do default export. Export default multiply. In each and every file, I can only have one default export. If I want to pass multiple things, then simply I just have to wrap inside curly braces like how we did here. Now here I am having named export, and here I am having default export. I will just comment this. Below this I will write 3. Here I will be pasting. For named export, we have to use curly braces, but for default export, I do not have to use. I will simply write multiply. Separate by comma. This is my default export and this is my named export. I will just come down and here I will be writing multiply. Save it, run the application, hit enter. I am having the result. 7 into 3, I have the result 21. For default export, I can give any name, multiply 1, save it, refresh, again I will be having the result. But for named export, you should always give the same name whatever you have given while exporting. Now let us see the fourth pattern. I will just write here 4. Inside this, I will write export all functions as named. I will remove this multiply. Now here directly I am just using this export and I am just doing named export of these two functions. I will come to index, comment this. Below this I'm just going to write fourth pattern. So now here what we have done while importing, inside the curly braces we are simply passing this sum and sub. I will copy. Below this I will paste, remove. I will remove this. Now, instead of writing this entire thing, I can simply write here star. And after that, I should give the name. Here I will write calculation. So using this, what I am telling, whatever is exported inside this calculation file, entire thing has to be imported. So here you have to pass this name. Now this calculation is nothing but it will be an object. Again, from that object, we should access these properties. So calculation.sum and calculation.sub. Now I will run, I will be having the result. So it is very important. You will be writing this star. Now what happens if we just give this default export here? I will copy. Below this, I will be pasting. I will come here. Now let me just write here calculation dot multiply. Save it. Come here. Now you can see I will be having this error. Here I will get calculation.multiply is not a function. So using this, I am just importing all the named export. If I want to import this default export, here I will be writing multiply, comma, star as, remove this calculation from here. Now save it, come here, run the application. I will be having the result. So using this star, we have just imported all the named export. But in each and every file, we can have one default export. So simply we can import in this way and we can call the function. Now let me show you another pattern. Comment this. Below this, I will write the comment as 5. I will write default exporting in single function. Directly, I will be writing export. Default, I will not be giving any name. Directly, I'm just going to write a comma b and here I will simply return a plus b. And all these are very common if you are using JavaScript libraries. I have not given any name, but default we can give any name while importing. I will comment this. Below this, I'm just going to write fifth. Here I will write import. Now I can give any name. So I will give some from this calculation.mjs. Below this, I will log sum and here I will write 9, 8. Now if I run, you can see I will be having the result 17. So in this way also you can do default export, but whenever you want to do named export, you should always give the name. But for default export, in single line, you can export the function and while importing, you can give any name and you can display the result. Let me show you the last pattern. I will just comment. Come here. I will comment. Below this, I will be writing 6. Here I will write export alias. Okay, this is nothing but giving another names. From here, I will copy these functions. I will paste, remove this export keyword. So here I have written sum and sub. Now what I will do, I'm just going to export this. I will write curly braces. I will write this sum. I will write as. I just want to export this sum as add. Okay, I'm doing named export. I have not written the default key. So this is named export. So for this sum, I have given the name as add. So while importing, I should be using the name add. Then here I will write sub, and for this sub, what I will give the name as subtract. Now instead of using sum and sub, I should be using add and subtract while importing. I will come below this, I will be writing 6. I will write here import. For name export, we will write here curly braces. Then I will be writing add, and then I'm going to write subtract. I will write from this file name. And below this, in same way, we have to call copy. Here I will be pasting. Instead of sum, I will write add. Below this, I will write log. Then I will write subtract. Inside this, I will write 8, 7. Run the application. Now I will be having the result. So this is how we will be working with different patterns in ESM module. So our ESM module supports both named exports and default exports. So let us see 4 differences from common JS. So inside this ES modules, we have used import and export, whereas in common JS, we will be using require function, and to expose the functionality, we have used module.export. Then coming to asynchronous behavior, ES modules are asynchronous and they will be supporting top level await, but this common JS module system is synchronous. So in ESM, it is simply like it will tell, I will do this task while waiting for the next one so that everything will be running smoothly. But in common JS, what it will tell, I will finish the task completely before moving to the next one. So you will have to wait. But still, in Node.js, common JS module system is widely used. And third, support for modern features. ES module have better support for modern JavaScript features and static analysis. Now you might have question when to use ES module and when to use common JS module. So you can use ES module for new projects and whenever you are working with front-end technologies for consistency across your code base. So whenever you are working with front-end development frameworks like React, Angular, Vue, then you can use this ESM module. Now when to use this common JS? You can use this for legacy projects, or if you want to have compatibility with older Node.js modules, then this common JS module system is required. So always be careful. Node.js also allows ESM module, and most of the people I have seen, they will mix both common JS and ES module. So in Node.js it is possible, but you should be very careful because you will be having compatibility issues due to different syntaxes and execution behavior. So based on your project requirement, you should be using this module system. So that is the reason I have shown you different patterns which will be used in ESM module. Next, we will understand different patterns used in common JS.